Day 7 of mining Operation Kappa. 1 full week of operations down. Unfortunately, another drone went down today. We still have enough drones to detect the deadly gas, but if another goes down, we're going to have to rework our drone pattern to compensate and possibly lose other capabilities. We were able to work over minimum operating hours today, and we have stabilized at 5.1 kilometers ahead of schedule both today and yesterday. End of audio log 13.
Yo, what's going on, you guys? This is your host, Brandon.
And this is Blake.
And we're coming at you with another episode here, episode 42.
Good number. It's Jackie Robinson, isn't that?
42, yes. And it divides into 21.
And you're 21.
And I'm 21.
About it, dude. Honestly, the numerology on every episode, always got something to say about it.
And we've got 21 shooters for you today.
Yes, indeed. We are talking about the shooter genre, and we just have a ton of games that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
This was kind of born out of the fact that at the end of the year, I mean, there's a lot of shooters coming out right now, and I mean, at the end of every year, they kind of release some annual shooters. So Brandon's going to be talking about Call of Duty Vanguard. I'm personally boycotting the Call of Duty franchise right now because of all the terrible shit that's going on over there. And hey, look, if you want to boycott, like, we're going to talk about some other games that you can play. And if you want to play it, I mean, like, feel free. Brandon's going to be talking about that. We're both not playing Battlefield. We'll talk about that as well.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what sparked this. But then we also are just kind of excited about some of the other games that are on here as well. Like, we've got a whole roster. So if you either don't want to play any of the new games or think the price tag is too much, like, everything else that we're going to talk about is a lower price tag and maybe better in some stances. So do you want to kick us off, man? Tell us about Vanguard.
Let's get right into it, man. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Vanguard recently. I've played a lot of the preseason. I tried a little bit of the zombies because I watched that trailer. It was a total letdown. I could not play the zombies, honestly.
Actually, that makes me sad because I thought the trailer looked really cool, but I mean, we've got similar taste in zombies, so if you don't like it, I probably wouldn't like it either.
Yeah, it was
what was up with it?
Dude, it was just, maybe I gotta check it out now that season 1 dropped. Maybe they dropped a new map, but it was just not it, bro. Like, the mechanics were off, just the bosses and the way that you navigated the world.
Was it still round based?
It was definitely still round based, but man, it was just something about it. It was just off. It didn't feel like the zombies we know and love.
Yeah, man, I get that. But what about the multiplayer? Did you play any of the campaign?
I didn't touch the campaign because that would have been too huge of a download.
You did the different parts?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What was the total? Do you know what the gigabyte was?
It was a lot, Blake. I'll tell you that much. It was a lot of gigabytes, and I do have Warzone. It's huge.
Oh my gosh.
Huge. And Warzone, actually, they just did a huge update for Warzone. So do
you like the new map?
I haven't checked out the new update for Warzone, but apparently a lot of people were not playing Warzone, and now they're coming back because of this update. So that's exciting. But I've been playing multiplayer mainly, just been playing through the multiplayer maps. Been playing some good old domination, hardpoint.
That's always kind of been your favorite, hasn't it?
Kill confirmed, yeah. Just good old pub stomping, as they like to say. And yeah, just having my fun, playing with friends. Man, I'm already like Prestige 1.
Oh my gosh. Didn't the season 1 just drop today?
Well, I played the preseason too. I played from release day, so yeah, it's just,
Do you like the weapons?
Call of Duty and I have a history together.
Yeah, man. I'll be honest, even though I'm boycotting, I do kind of have some FOMO. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I decided not to get it, but I don't know. I feel like the zombies was a big pull for me, and I really wanted to jump into it, man. But
Yeah.
did you like the gunplay? Because it's in the same engine as the last Modern Warfare game. So if you haven't been keeping up with the franchise, the Modern Warfare, the last Modern Warfare they did, that was in a new engine, and that was so fun. I think that was probably, I'll be honest, that was my favorite COD, and it was just so fun to play online. I loved how like the gunplay felt. I loved the online matches, but I hated Black Ops, the online. I just didn't like it. I thought the guns felt different. I don't know, it just wasn't for me. And come to find out that it was actually in the previous engine. So the Call of Duty Black Ops that the previous game, I guess the 2021 game, or I'm sorry, the 2020 game, that was in the previous engine because they couldn't get it in the new engine in time. And then this one, the Call of Duty Vanguard, is now in the same engine as Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense why the feel as far as multiplayer is a lot different from Black Ops and why I've been enjoying it a lot. I feel it definitely gives me kind of Modern Warfare vibes. And when it comes to multiplayer, I think, Modern Warfare really has it down packed. I really enjoyed Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. So I'm really enjoying Vanguard. And so are a lot of my friends, so.
Yeah, definitely, man. Do you like the guns? Because, this is a return to World War II, which is, another point of, I don't know if it's necessarily contention, but, it does seem that, obviously, the original, the COD, World at War, like the one that they made for, like, the 360. I think it was the 360 generation. That had, like, the original zombies, like, it had, like, co-op campaign. Dude, like that was just insane. Like that was probably like my first realistic like shooter game that I was like, oh my gosh, this is just so fun. And
yeah.
So I feel like because of that game's success, they feel like they always go back to World War II. And I think this is the third time they've gone back to World War II. So
wow.
I think a lot of people are just, myself included, are kind of just like, is it worth it? Because obviously the guns are like more old school,
Totally. And one thing about like Activision and just the Call of Duty franchise in general is, they learn a lot and they adapt and they make changes.
It's very iterative.
Community. So it definitely feels a lot smoother. Just like, for example, I'm using an MP40. It's the only gun I use because I'm trying to get it gold, completing all the challenges. But even the challenges are like different. They're not like your regular set of challenges. For, to get one of the camos, you have to have 3 specific attachments on your gun.
That's cool. I don't think I've seen anything like that.
Yeah. And on top of that, you have to get like headshots or long shots with those specific attachments. So there's just really like different kind of, they're making kind of these different changes, but they're also staying true to like, keeping a good sight. And as far as like the attachments go, there are so many variations and I'm the type of person, like I like it when it's simple, but there's just something about the way that they introduced these attachments that it's very like easy to understand. You just have a lot of options. And it's fun. They did a good job. You can tell it was well made. A lot of people complain about, the Call of Duty, but people are always going to complain.
Yeah, like when you get to a franchise, obviously there is definitely fair criticism to be said about having the game where you like constantly shoot human beings. And obviously there's something to be said about like, maybe we shouldn't romanticize violence and like, maybe we shouldn't have like the NPCs that you kill look Middle Eastern, you know what I mean? Like there's definitely something to be said about that. But yeah, like the game definitely has its critics, but like when you have a franchise that big, there's always going to be people talking shit. You have the same thing with Pokemon. You have the same thing with like Star Wars. Like when it's just a humongous franchise, like there's always going to be people that kind of say things about it or that have like nuanced like picks or I guess like nuanced tweaks about it. But
Right.
I mean, like generally, like we're here to celebrate games, so I mean, we just got to stay in the light, I guess.
And talk about the games we love and
Yeah.
why we love them. And Vanguard, there's a lot to love there. As you know, I've been sick recently, so I've had a lot of time to just be home. And Vanguard has been really helpful. I played a lot of Call of Duty as a kid. Maybe I shouldn't have, but
No, you're fine, man.
I get a lot of like, I don't know, nostalgia. It just brings me back into that time when I was like 12 and had no worries in the world and just playing Call of Duty game after Call of Duty game and just tearing it up in the lobbies.
Yeah, no, man, like totally. I mean, like if you're sick, like, dude, I wish that I was sick right now and I could like go and play the new Pokemon, because that's what I did when I was a kid. Man, actually, not thinking about like my parents, whenever I was sick, they would never let me play video games. So I would always like play the handhelds in my bed because it's something that like if they came in, I could just like flip it closed and like pretend I was sleeping.
Yeah.
They're like, if you're missing school, you have to sleep. No, there's definitely something to that, man, especially like this time of the year. Like, I feel like everybody just wants to be in that like homey kind of mood. So I'm glad that you get that, man. And hey, I mean, like we said, there's definitely fair criticisms about this game, especially right now with a lot of the things that are going on with the company. And hey, I mean, I personally love the games and I'm choosing just to abstain. I mean, I don't know if it's really going to matter, but hey, that's a personal choice. So, I mean, we want to see, I mean, like you said, I mean, this is about the games we love and we just want to see more people, experience and love these games. And, sometimes I guess you gotta either, present fair criticism in a positive way or maybe not a positive way or just like a good way that, that can, I guess, present change as opposed to, just shouting online. But
yeah,
I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. I do wish that I could play, but honestly, man, I mean, there's so many games out there that there's a plethora of things that you can play.
There's a ton of other shooters, man. And I mean, I'll take this opportunity to get into another one that, I mean, you mentioned you don't really have a lot of experience with, but I played a lot of.
Yeah, go for it.
And it's a totally free shooter. It's called Splitgate.
Splitsgate? Is it Splitgate or Splitsgate?
Splitgate.
Okay. Yeah, I have it downloaded, man. I've been itching to check it out, but.
And, it kind of has like that Portal premise to it where you can shoot into a wall and build a portal.
I'll be honest, man, I've never played Portal.
But you've heard of it?
I've heard. I'm assuming you make a portal, but have you played the Portal games?
I've never played the Portal games, but I've definitely seen gameplay.
Maybe we should check that out, man. That might be fun.
Yeah, that might be fun. But it's a really cool dynamic. And I mean, for a shooter, it definitely adds a different like layer to the game. Like you can, shoot someone through one of these portals that you've set up, that you've strategically picked. And you can make portals like from any point in the map. It's really, really.
So if you pick a portal, do you have to pick a start and an end? Or if you just pick a start, it has it designated?
You have to pick a start and an end.
Oh, wow. So there's like basically all these, I guess I'm going to call them like nexus points. There's basically like you have a map and you have like a bunch of nexus points and you can pick like an in and an out.
Exactly.
Is there like any limit to it to where like you have to be able to see the exit or can you literally just bounce to the other side of the map?
You have to be able to see the other point.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to be able to see them.
Okay. So like let's say somebody's shooting you and you're like in a hallway. You can make a portal, jump through the portal and like end up behind them in the hallway.
You could, yeah. If you could aim it behind them and then make another portal right next to you, go through it, and
So do you when you play, do you use it more as like movement, or do you use it more as like opening up a hallway to shoot the other person?
I use it more as movement.
Okay.
So it's like a way to just like, flank.
Yeah.
It's a really easy way to flank.
Honestly, man, that seems like such a fun concept because it feels like you could really outplay somebody.
Oh, man, it adds a total different layer. And something that I noticed about Splitgate, and maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but, it's just true. It's a lot like Halo, like a lot like Halo. And
So it's kind of like a sci-fi kind of.
Imagine Halo 3 with a portal aspect to it.
Okay.
That's what it's like. And man, it's tough. I love it. And it's just a really fun game. I think it's still in a beta.
Well, I don't know. It says free to play. So I don't know if that makes it like a beta, but is it kind of like, I mean, like with all free to play games, like obviously they monetize on like customizations and stuff, but is it kind of like in your face, or does it give you like a wide berth and kind of just like enjoy the game? But
definitely not. It's definitely not in your face like at all.
Okay. There's just one that I'm going to bring up later, and it was very much like, it was just so up in my face that I just kind of stopped playing. But, well, hey, I guess we can talk about that one. There's another free-to-play game that I checked out recently. It's called Hawken. Have you heard of Hawken?
No.
So basically the premise of it is it's just like a mech shooter. So you are just like a mech. And like, so basically you're just this big robot and you've got like 2 arms, but it's like you're like a mech, like a robot. So it's not like hands. It's like you have like a rocket launcher or like a gun or like a shield, and you have all these abilities. And it was very much like it was really fun for like an hour or two. And I was definitely just like going through matches, and it was really cool because you have like these boosts that you can do, and you unlock different classes of mechs, and you can just jump in and like, let's say it gives you one mech and it's like very much based on movement. So it'll let you like kind of zip around, but you have like lighter guns. And then like you can totally like mess up a bigger guy that has like crazy, like if you get hit once, like it does like half your health, but it's really easy to avoid their shots and things like that. So like it's really easy just because there's so much variety of like the different types of mechs. It can really be kind of fun. I really honestly, like I played it for like 2 hours and I kind of bounced because I was really enjoying it. And then it just seemed like every time I got out of the match, it was like, oh, you unlocked this. You unlock the ability to buy this. But it's like you could use your in-game currency that you earned, or it's like you could just buy it. And I was kind of just like, man, I have almost nothing of the stuff that I've earned to be able to actually unlock this. So it was really just kind of like a mobile game as far as like the monetization, like really just up in your face. And I kind of bounced off that one. But I mean, definitely if you like mech shooters, like this is a free to play and you'll definitely get something out of it. I mean, you never know. You might be different than me. It might not bother you, and you might be able to sink like 10, 20 hours into it. You never know.
And is the free to play advertisement like in your face on this one?
Oh yeah, totally. It really is in your face. It's also like a pay to win too, because like you'll be playing and like let's say you're a level 1, you can only have this one mech if you're a level 1. But then by the time you get to level 10, you have the ability to unlock these like 15 other mechs. And then it's like, but you can't unlock them because you don't have any of the currency. It's like you could just buy it for like a couple bucks. And I don't know. I was kind of just like, I'm kind of out on that. Because like not only, it was just like also the menus were just like so complicated because they had to incorporate the monetization elements in it. So like they had to be able to clearly state like, you can either get this way or you can get this way. It's like you can either get this from grinding or get this by paying money. And it was just, I don't know. I just kind of left. Because not only like could you do this with like the different mechs that you had, there was also a whole menu set for your attachments and your color customization. And that was all on like the specific mech. So like, let's say I got a rocket launcher A. I couldn't put rocket launcher A on Titan 1 and 2. I'd have to unlock it for Titan 1 and then put it, I'm sorry, I said Titan, like mech 1 and then mech 2. I'd have to unlock it again. So I don't know, it kind of sucked, like that aspect of it, but I don't know if that made sense. But basically, yeah, like, hey, check it out for yourself. It's free to play. Like all it costs is the storage on your box. And honestly, that being said, that it's the storage that you have on your box is a commodity these days. So
yeah, it's a real price to pay.
Yeah. Honestly, man, I got to talk about this other game though. You've probably heard of it. And this actually is kind of the game that inspired this whole episode, in part with Vanguard. But Halo Infinite. It's a new Halo game. I think that it actually came out today, like the full campaign, if you want, but the multiplayer is totally free. So as long as you have an Xbox, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, or Xbox Series S, you can play this game. It's free to play. Were you able to check this out at all, Brandon?
No, I wasn't, not yet.
I knew the answer before I asked, man. Dude, honestly, you're missing out. I don't want to say it, man. I think this is the best shooter I've played in probably years. This is so good. And it's free to play too. And it's like, honestly, there's a couple different, oh man, I don't even really know where to begin, man. It basically, the whole pitch, man, it's a free to play Halo game. And I'm playing it on my launch Xbox One and it runs fine. Like, truthfully, like, it's a next gen game. It can be played on both. I have had zero issues, and I really don't even have that long of load times, which I think is kind of crazy. So, man, props to the studio that made this game up, because I think it. I was gonna say I think it what I thought it was, but I think that they sold it. Okay, so the new studio is 343 Industries, and I just gotta say, man, this game is so fun. Like, literally, dude. Imagine like hopping into a Halo game, like your favorite Halo game from your past. It's you and a Spartan. Like, you're the Spartan. You have the pistol, you have the gun, and you just hop in, and it's just like you have the really long floaty jump, and it's just like you versus another Spartan. And it really is that, man. Like with Call of Duty, like you can jump into a multiplayer match. You can totally just like get killed in 1 second and be like, oh my God, the dude is behind me. There's nothing I could do. Like, you know, like with COD, like you don't have a ton of health. So like if you really like, if somebody gets a drop on you, like, and you're looking the other way, like you can't do anything.
Right.
With this one, oh my gosh, it's a totally different story. So you have a whole health bar, and then you have a whole shield bar, and so everybody spawns in with the same guns. You have like an assault rifle and a pistol, and anything, like you can find other like guns on the map. And dude, it's honestly like, it is so fun. Like, I can't tell you how much, like, seriously, how much joy it is to like have like the starting pistol and like totally outplaying somebody and absolutely blopping their asses. Like, honestly, like I've had some truly like incredible moments where I've like outplayed people, because you have to be strategic. So like there's like, you can do a melee, and if you do 2 melees, it's a kill. Or if you do 2 grenades, it's a kill. Or you can unload an entire clip plus in it like another half a clip, and they can maybe still be alive. Like, you really have to do a lot of damage to them just because of how much health you have. And because of that, like, it really just changes the whole dynamic. Like, you can really get into like a firefight with somebody and like maybe make it out with like just like a sliver of health, but like you still got them. And then like one person will hit you like one time and it'll just be over. And like, you can't do anything. But man, it's just so fun, man. And they have like different multiplayer, different types of matches. So unfortunately, because it's like free to play, like you can't pick what game type, like you can't pick like team domination or like capture the flag. Like, you can't do anything like that. But you can pick like the number of players that are in it. So I've been doing a lot of 4v4, which is just like their quick matches, and they don't last very long. And when you're in a 4v4, like your performance can really make or break it. And that's really fun. And it's so hard to explain, but like just the feel of it, like it just feels like how Halo should feel, man. Like, it definitely has that nostalgic factor for me, and it just feels so good. Like, it's really like just the feel of it, man. And oh man, I'm gushing about it, dude. I really am.
Yeah, man, you've been trying to get me to play this game for a while, and like I said, I'm not gonna try it until I get my hands on the next gen. Which, you know,
I'm here to tell you, there's truly no need to do that, dude. Like, I have my Xbox One, my launch one, that has like a layer of like a half an inch of dust on the top. It is running perfect, man. Like, I really truly, like, I only have to wait like 30 seconds to like get into a match, maybe a minute. But it, like, after having the PS5 and like when you have the PS5, you have pretty much no load times. Like, going back and playing any other game on a previous gen is kind of like a nightmare. Like, I don't know if you've experienced that at all, but like, I tried to play something the other day on my Xbox, and I was like, man, like, I've been here like a whole minute. And then I'd like open up Instagram and I was just like, man, like I used to do this like every time I was trying to load something. Like you just sit there. And man, that's something to be said about the next gen, man. It's really crazy. But I haven't experienced anything like that. Like it does take like a little bit of time, but it's really not bad, dude. Like they did a great job at making it playable on the last gen console. I've had, like I said, launch Xbox One, I've had no issues. I got kicked from one match. And it might be that it doesn't have like the best resolution, but I don't know. I just get lost in it, man, because it's just so fun. Like, dude, I had this moment where I like absolutely like wrecked this dude. And I maybe I had like a pickup or something. And basically I got the gravity hammer. And then I was like, okay, like I have the gravity hammer. Like I'm going to mess some people up. And I like went and this dude was coming at me with a warthog. And I like hit him with the gravity hammer. And I got like a double kill because like there's another person on the back. And then I had another one where I had like the sword. I don't really know what the laser sword is called. But basically I had the laser sword and then I also had the power up that made me invisible. So I went invisible and I had the sword. And I just got like 3 people in the back. Oh man, it's just so fun. Like it's seriously like so sandboxy.
Yeah.
You just got to jump into it, man. I was playing it a little bit on my lunch and it's really cool. And also they have you can jump right into the multiplayer, which is what I did. But I've heard that some people said that the tutorial is pretty good. So I did the tutorial and I mean, it definitely has like some story elements to it, but I haven't really been keeping up with Halo, so I don't really know what's going on, TBH, but it was okay. I would almost say just do whatever you want. Like if you want to do the tutorial, go for it. But if you want to jump in, like just jump in. Like you'll figure it out. Oh man, it's so good, dude. You gotta play it, man. You gotta do it.
I gotta try it. I'll try it eventually, I'm sure. And this is Halo Infinite, so this is just like the multiplayer for next gen.
Yeah, they kind of said that. Well, Brandon, it's Halo Infinite. It's gonna last forever. It's got infinite in the name. So
yeah, it's self-explanatory.
They've announced like a little bit. So I kind of think I know what's going on. I mean, I'm no expert on this, but they said that the new season their season 1 is gonna last from like now until the end of May. So it's really going to become it's a free to play with seasons and all of the battle passes. So they have a battle pass. You can buy the battle pass. That has been like really the only point of controversy with this game at the moment that I could find is that people don't like the progression system of the battle pass. But I don't know. People said the same thing about any other big free to play. Like they'll figure it out. I mean, truthfully, like because it's free to play, like and you do get a lot of free stuff. I'm kind of just going to see how far I can get with the free to play and see if it's worth it. So I guess I'll let you know. But so I think that they're going to play this through the whole generation. Like I think that's kind of going to be the plan. And it really is that good. Like I'm going to be honest, I'm going to come back to this game. Like truthfully, I've been so burnt out on the shooter genre, and like this game in particular made me not only interested in it again, like I was like, oh, this is why I love like FPSs. And like it just like renewed my love for the whole genre.
It reminded you why you fell in love with it in the beginning.
Definitely, man. It's that good, dude. You should check it out.
High praise. But let's get into the next one, man. What's the next game?
Actually, man, I thought it would be funny because I don't know about funny. I thought it would be fun to talk about this game because we haven't talked about it since our pilot episode. Episode number 1 or 0, I think it's episode number 1. We talked about a little bit about Titanfall 2. And after playing a little bit of Halo, like I said, I was like, it just reunited that love for the genre. And I went back and I played the whole campaign of Titanfall 2 on my P5.
Dang.
And man, I'm gonna be honest, dude. I think this is the best shooter campaign of all time. That's my opinion, man. So if you don't know anything about Titanfall 2, basically the launch of Xbox 360 generation and PlayStation 3, Titanfall was announced, And I think it was the first game ever to be online only, like multiplayer only. And it was really okay. Like, it was really fun. Like, it's basically this like super cool sci-fi shooter, and you have like a grappling hook, or you can like turn invisible and you can run on walls, and you have like a jetpack, and it's basically like super fast paced, and really like it's all about movement and like trying to like outmaneuver people and then shooting them.
Yeah.
So it's like really fun. And then on top of it, if you do well in the match, you get to call in this thing called a Titan. And it's basically this humongous, like badass mech suit that has like all these cool abilities, and you can like wreck normal players, but also the other team can also call in Titans. So it's definitely fun. So then basically they released the second game, Titanfall 2, and it had a multiplayer and a pretty short campaign. And we'll talk about Titanfall 2 in a second. But then they also, after that, they released Apex Legends, which is one of the biggest free-to-play battle royales out there. And this is from Respawn, which is the developing studio. And Respawn is also the people that made Jedi Fallen Order, which is my favorite game of all time. So I don't know. I absolutely love what Respawn does. And Titanfall 2, dude, I think you should check it out. If you're like looking for a shooter this holiday season, or just looking for a shooter in general, I think I picked this game up for like $4. And like I said, I think it's the best campaign of all time. Like, if you're into sci-fi shooters and you haven't played this, like, you're doing yourself a disservice. Like, you got to check this out.
Man.
Do you remember too much from the Titanfall 2 campaign?
Not really. I only played the Titanfall campaign. I never got around to the Titanfall 2 one, but maybe I should have. Seems like it's better.
Well, the first one didn't have a campaign. It was only multiplayer. Do you remember the character BT?
No.
You got to check it out, man.
It's been a while, man. I miss Titanfall though. Titanfall was really, really fun.
Yeah, so I guess I'll give you a quick pitch on the campaign. Like, basically, you kind of start out and you're this infantryman Jack Cooper, and you're training with this pilot. So that's what they call the people that are in the Titans. So the Titans are the mech suits, and the people that control them are the pilots. And there's this pilot, Lastimosa, Captain Lastimosa, and he's trying to train you in this, like, it's kind of like this sim pod, kind of like VR, but it's in like this like full body kind of pod thing. Like, it looks kind of cool. Like, truly, like the sci-fi in this, like it's some really cool sci-fi. And you kind of do this like training simulation, and it kind of like shows you like basically this training simulation is the tutorial. And you know me, like if a game has a good tutorial, like, it's already got my heart, because I hate tutorials. But
this is true.
Yeah, it was really cool because it puts you in this, it's kind of like a simulation where you're doing like a speed run. Like, it's like a very like confined, like you have to run this course where you have to do all these platformings, like run on the wall and shoot these people and like use grenades. And you have to do this in like a minute and 25 seconds. And I think you have to do it in like a minute, 25 seconds to continue. And then like people obviously speed run this, and like you can beat, it also has capped like different pilots. He's like, oh, like up here on the wall, there's like different pilots that you can see their times. And like, as you progress through the story, you realize they're like main NPC characters. And if you go back, you can like, it's called the Gauntlet, I believe. And you can run the Gauntlet and try to beat their scores. And it's kind of interesting, a little bit of like, I guess, Titanfall 2 Apex lore is that one of the characters from Apex Legends, Octane, who's kind of like the person that like runs super fast, he was inspired by speedrunners of the Titanfall 2 Gauntlet, because I guess one of the ways the speedrunning community was able to get a faster time on the Gauntlet was to like throw grenades at the character's feet, because you couldn't take damage from your own grenades, and the grenades would like push you forward. So you really had to be using like all of the game's physics, kind of break the game and push yourself forward. Yeah. So that's how kind of like the inspiration for the Octane character, which I think is super cool. And oh man, just after that, you kind of like get dropped into this like battle. They're like, hey, like Cooper, like we're being attacked, like go, like you have to report to your, I guess, platoon or whatever. And then it's like this crazy cutscene where like you're in like this pod and you're being emergency dropped out of the starship, and like you just like crash into the planet, and it's like really intense. And then like you hear like people yelling, and then you get like the pod like injects you with like stim or whatever, and then you get out of the pod and like you have to like pick up a gun, and then you're basically on an enemy planet and you have to like kill these robots. I mean, like they're called the like, so the, I don't know, I think I might be getting too much into this, but basically the enemy is called the IMC, and which I think is like Interplanetary Mining Corporation, I think is what it stands for. I don't know, I might be wrong about that. Basically they're the big bad, and they have like robots that are like trying to fight you, and basically you have to go through and kind of like clear this area with your squad. And then it like kind of breaks off into a cutscene where Captain Lastimosa like finds your squad, and he's like, all right, boys, like this way. And then enemy Titans come in and basically kill him, or like you think they kill him, but basically like he saves you, and in saving you, he kind of puts himself in like a bad position, and he kind of loses the fight with these enemy Titans, and you kind of pass out, and then you wake up and you go and try and see what happened to him, and he's like locked inside of his Titan, and he kind of like falls out of the Titan and passes on his helmet to you, and you become the pilot of BT, and BT is your Titan. And basically you have like protocols where he's like, protocol 1, like uphold the mission, protocol 2, protect the pilot. And it's kind of like, it's really cool because it kind of humanizes this like robot that is like an AI, and kind of gives it, I guess, like a humanoid kind of personality. And he's a really compelling character. And obviously, like I said, it is just an absolutely insane shooter, like sci-fi shooter. And man, it's super crazy and super fun. So I would definitely recommend playing that. If there's anybody out there that hasn't played that, check it out.
Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2, man. And I have one other shooter that I want to talk about, but really quick, if you're a PlayStation Plus member, there's also another shooter that you could play called Predator Hunting Grounds. And you can get this, actually, I think you had to get this a couple months ago on PlayStation Plus. You might still be able to get it, as well as Hell Let Loose. So if you really wanted to play like a World War II kind of shooter, but want to boycott COD, this is a PlayStation Plus kind of World War II shooter, Hell Let Loose. And also something that I did check out, man, something that you can also get if you're on PlayStation Plus, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombie Chronicles is available for PlayStation Plus. So the only bad thing about this is you have to download the whole game in order to get this. So that's 80 gigs that you have to have free, which on the P5 that's a big ask. So
that's not happening.
I did check it out. I did play some Zombies on the Moon though. So it's kind of fun, but
man. You got access to Moon?
Yeah, the Zombie Chronicles, you get access to like 8 different zombies maps, including Kino and Moon.
Would we be able to play together?
Yeah, you could totally jump on with that. I don't know, you got 80 gigs free?
For Kino and all that, I might be able to make some room.
Hey, honestly, man, I would be so down to run some Kino with you. Oh man. I did play it for a little bit, and I was kind of like, oh wow, I didn't make it very far, because in the new COD, the last one, I didn't realize how much that had kind of like changed how I play, because you have a health bar. So like you can get hit, like essentially you can get hit a ton and it not like you not go down. But in this one, it's straight up, you get hit twice, you're donezo, man.
Yeah. So
it was like playing on hard mode, but because it was Black Ops 3. So on my Xbox One, I do have the Black Ops 1 with Kino on it. And I used to play that up until 2020. Man, like all the guns are different. So I was just having like a blast checking out like the different wall guns and the box guns. So I was having a good time with that. Yeah, dude, maybe you should check it out. I mean, obviously like it's free with PlayStation Plus, but the biggest thing about it is 80 gigs. And that's a lot.
Yeah, no, that's huge. But I mean, if you have an external hard drive, you can figure it out.
Yeah, definitely, man. And this one is not a free to play. This one is kind of more expensive. It's also a PlayStation exclusive, but I kind of talked about it when I first got it, and I haven't picked it up since. But like I said, man, Halo I don't know, it just like rekindled this passion for shooters, and I've been playing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
And that's on PlayStation.
Yeah, that's a PlayStation 5 exclusive. So if you have a PlayStation 4, you can't play it. But if you have a P5, and it's a full $70. I mean, you might be able to get a Black Friday or end of the year deal, but yeah. Dude, can I gush about this game to you, man?
Go for it, bro.
Oh
I played Ratchet and Clank on a PSP before, and I had a good time with it.
Did you ever play the PlayStation 2 versions?
No, I never played. I only played it on the PSP.
Which one did you play on the PSP?
I don't remember.
I got them all, man. Did you play Size Matters, Agent Clank?
I think it was Agent Clank.
Oh, man. That's terrible, dude. Did you like it?
I had fun with it. I did.
That's good, man. If you had fun with that, I can only imagine what this would be. But I think kind of last time we talked about it, I think I kind of said it was the first like true PlayStation 5 title that I'd experienced. And I think I kind of said it was a little overwhelming. I mean, here's the thing, truthfully, in this next gen game, it is absolutely seamless between gameplay and the cutscenes. It looks no different. I mean, at least for me, I can't really tell a difference. And I think that's just like crazy. Like you can really go from like a cutscene and then like you take control. And it's just something else because, man, it really I guess it like removes the barrier. Like I wouldn't necessarily have said that loading times was a barrier before I played this game. Now that I've like played it and you go from literally a cutscene to right back into the action, I think we're in for something special with this next gen consoles, man. Like if that's kind of the way things are going, I think that maybe we might be in for something special. A new wave, a new era, one could say, new era of gaming.
New way to play.
Have you experienced anything like that with any of the other games you have? Do you have any like PlayStation 5 exclusives? Surely you do, man.
I have NBA 2K22, which is they have a PS5 version that's an exclusive. And I mean, My Career is pretty fun, but it's not really anything too different.
Is it like the loading times? Do you experience like the non-loading times on those?
Yeah, we definitely do experience the non-loading times and just overall graphics. And
do you think that changes anything for you?
Not really. Yeah, it definitely looks cool. It feels dope. I definitely feel like I'm playing 2K in a new gen because I've played 2K since like 2K12.
Yeah.
So I definitely noticed the progression, but
I'll be honest, I really think it took me to play this game to like realize how far we've come. So I guess just to like give a little bit of backstory on like maybe why that is. Ratchet and Clank is a first-party Sony studio, and it's running on the P5, which is the Sony console. And like I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima, and like Ghost of Tsushima is a PlayStation 4 game, and it has more loading times than this PlayStation 5 game. And I think it's got to have something to do with how it's optimized or how it runs on the SSD drive. I mean, I'm not a tech wizard like Brandon, so I can't really speak to it. But but yeah, dude, it really changes it up, man. I really think that if you're looking for like, I guess, a single player campaign and you have the PlayStation 5 and you really want to experience it for what it is, I think it's worth the $70 price tag, which is a lot, to be fair. But man, I'll be honest. So basically where we left off is I jumped into this game and I don't know. I was like overwhelmed with it because everything was so bright. And I don't know. I guess maybe it just like took me a second for that to like, I guess, kick in for like my brain to just like be okay with it. I don't know. I can't really explain it I can't really explain it better than that. But man, like I've put some hours into it. I think I'm like halfway through now. And it's just so fun, dude. It really is. It's really a new take on this series. So the series does have a little bit of history. Like it's been around since the PlayStation 2. So, I mean, that's a couple of generations, and they've had a bunch of iterations, and it really kind of feels like this genre in particular was just a little bit, I don't know if dated is the right word, but like there hadn't been any releases in a while.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's kind of just like, is this even worth it? You know, because I mean, like with COD, it's so iterative, you know, but this was like, is this going to be something new? And absolutely, man, it absolutely is something new. Like it's really like the characters of the shooter, or the characters that you get to play as. They're really so compelling, and it's not necessarily in a way that I remember from this franchise. So I guess like in the past, this franchise is kind of just like, it's a shooter that's like super fun, and you just get like a ton of guns, and there's just like, they just throw a ton of enemies at you, and you just have to use a gun, then like switch to a totally different gun. Like there was like a gun in one of the older games where you'd shoot it at an enemy and it'd turn him into a sheep. And then if you upgraded that gun, the sheep would explode and take out other enemies. So there would be, and like it really, like the gameplay of it was like, you'd really be, I guess, incentivized to switch between weapons really quick. So you could switch to one weapon that would, like, let's say you could place a turret down and the turret would shoot enemies. And then you'll bring out another gun and like use a shotgun. And then like, let's say you clear the enemies that are like right in front of you. And then there's like people across the arena, like switch to a rocket launcher and just like shoot rocket launchers at them. And like, it was always like these crazy guns. Like, I think there's like in one of the previous games, there's like a rocket launcher and you have like an 80 clip rocket launcher gun. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like fun and ridiculous like that. And like, that's kind of always been like the big pull of the franchise. Like right now I have this gun that I've been using a lot. It's called the topiary sprinkler. And basically I'll just like throw it down, and it's literally like a lawnmower sprinkler. That's what it looks like. But it'll like shoot water at the enemies, and they'll like turn green. Like a vine will just like cover their whole bodies, and they won't be able to move because they're like covered in vines. And then like you'll just shoot them, and it's really fun. Like I have this other gun. I don't remember what it's called, but you just like shoot it out, and it's like becomes this mushroom, and this mushroom just starts like lobbing like mushroom bullets at the enemy. So it's like you're really like switching between like I have this other gun that I like that like electrocutes enemies. So like it'll shoot one enemy with like electric bolts, and then I'll have like this mushroom shooting at them, and I'll have like this sprinkler like shooting vines at it. And it's kind of like, it's really cool. And with this game in particular, it really makes it fun because you run out of ammo so quick, and you just get like a plethora of guns that you can switch between. I just unlocked this one that's like saw blades. Like I shoot like saw blades, but they like kind of like bounce back. So it's kind of like I can like literally you'll have something where it's like there's a gun that's shooting vines. There's like a gun that's shooting mushrooms, and you can like at the same time be shooting another gun that like electrocutes somebody. And then if you switch back to another gun, then you can literally do something else entirely. So it's really fun just to be able to do that. And they make it really easy to switch in between the guns. So like that is kind of like why you would play this game. But the characters are really compelling to me, truthfully, man. And you get a ton of like exploration incentives. Like they made the one thing that the game has like always had, they've always had a map, but it's just so easy to pull the map up here. And the map shows you like all the secrets. And it really just makes it, I don't know, I think it's a better design, which incidentally means that it's more accessible. And it's just like so much easier to find the secrets that I don't feel like I'm missing anything. Like I can really just go to a new planet and be like, okay, I did everything, and just continue right on.
Yeah.
And it's really cool, man. And like all the characters are like really they're dealing with like some pretty big stuff. Ratchet and Clank are kind of like the two, I guess, keystone characters, and they've really introduced some other ones. They've introduced Kit, Glitch, and Rivet. And Rivet is kind of like Ratchet's counterpart, and Kit is kind of like Clank's counterpart. And in the beginning, I won't say too much, but in the beginning, Clank, like he gets like maimed, like he loses like an arm, and he's kind of dealing with that the whole game. He's dealing with like a serious injury, and how that like kind of like relates to his confidence. And some of the characters are dealing with like guilt for something that they like a tragedy that happened in their like dimension. And
Yeah.
it's really cool, man, just to like see how these characters are like dealing with these things. But like also then you have a gun that can turn an enemy into an ice cube. So like I literally was fighting a boss earlier today and I shot it with an ice cube and it just like he like spun off a cliff and that was it. So
That
it was
Hasta
over.
la vista, boss.
Yeah. It really it's something special, man. And like I said, like this is really like what I think is in store for the next generation. It really does, like it's like seamless between cutscene and gameplay. And I think what that could do for storytelling is like really something.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to see what the future of the next gen looks like because we're just getting started with it, man.
Yeah, definitely. I would say the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is probably the only true PlayStation 5 game out there right now. Like there's others, but like I feel like that is the one that's like, if you have a PlayStation 5, you should play that one.
Hey, man, I gotta check that out.
Yeah. If
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah. You should check out Halo first though. It's free to play. I'm trying to get Brandon on it, man. I don't think he's gonna be able to stop once he does.
That's me and Vanguard right now.
Yeah. You never know, man. Okay. All right. We're going to talk about one more thing before we end up here today. Honestly, it's kind of weird. I don't really know too well how to explain it, but I'm going to see if you've heard about it, Brandon. It's called Kid A Mnesia Exhibition. Have you heard of this?
I haven't.
Oh, man, dude. Well, let me tell you, man. It's kind of like, well, I guess this should be said. It's free to play. So it's free to play and you can check it out. I guess it takes a little less than like 2 hours to complete. And I kind of say that because I don't really know if it can be completed and I don't really know if it can be played either. It's kind of like this experience. I'll be honest, man, this totally changed what I think a game can be. And I think it might have changed my life too. So I know that's like some strong praise coming right out of the gate, but basically this is kind of like an interactive exhibition, exhibit, game, experience, and concert all kind of like whipped up into one. And it's kind of in tandem with Radiohead. Do you know who Radiohead is?
I'm familiar with
it. It's like a band. Yeah. Have you ever listened to too much of their music?
I've listened to a couple songs.
Hey, you might get something out of this, man. I'll be completely honest. I have never listened to any of their songs, and I decided to like go full into this. And I'll be honest. Like I said, like I really enjoyed it. I think this changed my perspective on what I think a game can be, and I got a lot out of it. So if you're a Radiohead fan, you're probably going to get more out of it. And I'm really compelled to check out their music now. But basically, I just booted this up and I didn't really know too much what to expect. And it kind of starts out and you're in this plane and it says Kid A Mnesia Exhibition. And you're kind of looking at this wall and it kind of looks like a door. And I kind of was like walking up against it like, what is this? Like, do I have to do something to like interact with this door? But I'm like, is it a door? Because it kind of looks like this like huge garage door kind of thing. I was like, I don't really know what this is. And then I like turned around and I'm in this like black and white forest and it's like all hand drawn. And I see like a red light. And I was like, okay, like I guess I'll walk up to that red light. And I'm just like walking through this like forest kind of thing. And I come up to this door and it kind of looks like oh man, I'm trying to think of what they're called. Like, you know how like when you're at the airport and you have those things, I guess they're like the terminals, but they like take your luggage up to the plane.
Yeah. It
kind of looks like one of those. And I was like, I guess I'm going to walk through this. And at the top, there's this little patch of dialogue, and I'll read this for you. It says, there are doors and doors, and there are trapdoors. There are doors that open by themselves. There are sliding doors and secret doors. There are doors that let you in and out, but never open. And there are trapdoors that you can't come back from. Kid A Mnesia Exhibition. This is not a game. Take your time. You are at the beginning, so there must be an end. Some places will make sense. Some places will never make sense. See you later. And I kind of went through this and experienced it kind of all in one sitting. And I don't know, dude, it was just like this surreal experience. And I felt like it kind of changed my life, man. Oh, dude, I guess the best way to kind of describe this is, so obviously, like, I don't want to say too much about it. Like, it's an experience. It doesn't take too long. Like, you should absolutely experience this for yourself. It's free to play. It's like 8 gigabytes. You can download it, play it, or experience it and delete it in one evening. And I totally recommend doing that. So I'll keep this very brief. I won't spoil anything. And like, if you are intrigued by what I just said at all, like, seriously go check this out. And so it kind of like looks like a museum exhibit. And I think from what I've gathered online, that was kind of like what Radiohead wanted to do. They wanted to make like a museum exhibit for like, I guess like an anniversary of this album, which I guess Kid A Mnesia is an album. And I guess they wanted to make an exhibit about it. And I think that their anniversary fell in the last couple of years with COVID. And I mean, obviously like in-person events and exhibitions are not really happening, you know, so I guess they started to work with a studio to develop this. And what's kind of crazy about this, Brandon, is the studio that made this, they released this, and then after they like publicly announced this like free to play release, they also announced that they were being acquired by Epic, which is the people that make Fortnite. So it's kind of weird to like just know like going into this that this like crazy game experience is like, it's so experimental, man. It's now owned by the people that make Fortnite. So I don't know, maybe something will come of that. I don't even know. But
that's interesting.
I guess like my pitch, man, is because you're in a game, like imagine going into a museum exhibit where the laws of physics in reality don't exist. And what I mean by that is you can walk through a door and you can like walk through a door in a museum and be in a totally different place. Or you can walk through a door in a museum and just be floating in a void. Or you can walk into a space and you can think something is solid and you can walk right through it because the laws of physics don't apply, because anything is possible. Like there was this one moment where I walked through a pillar and inside of the pillar, I could hear bass music. And it was just so cool. And then I could walk through the pillar and I was back in the exhibit. And it was awesome. It was really surreal, man. And if you're going to experience this, I will give you a little tip, because I went through it and then I had to do half of it over again, because funny enough, it does kind of open up at one point, and it kind of like opens up and I immediately went through a trapdoor and I couldn't go back and check out any of the other stuff. So at one point you were going to come to a room where there's going to be a gigantic red pyramid. At the back of the pyramid, there is a set of stairs that takes you through a door. Once you go through that door, that leads to the end of the experience. So you should check out everything else, because everything else is a dead end. Up until that point, everything else is a dead end. So you can experience everything in that area, or maybe not a dead end. It might be a dead end or a loop, and you can experience all of that. Once you experience all that, go to the back of the red pyramid, and there's a staircase. And dude, it's honestly like also something that was like crazy to me is like the sense of scale. Like you can, like I said, like I literally at one point I walked through a door and it's like I was in a black void, and it was just so cool. I guess I'll give like one other little part of it, which if you're sold on this, like we're going to end up the episode after this. I don't know. This isn't necessarily a spoiler, but this is kind of like, I'm going to describe something from my point of view. So if you are like wanting to check this out, I mean, we're pretty much just going to talk about this and end up the episode. So check it out on your own. Like I said, it's free to play. But Brandon, I walked through this door, dude, and I saw this like structure, and it looked like it was like miles ahead of me, probably like a mile or two ahead of me. And it kind of looked like Stonehenge, but it was kind of like lit up. I was like, oh my God, like that looks rad. And I started like walking through this void to this like Stonehenge structure, right? And I kind of see it's like lit up. And I'm like, what is this? And as I got closer and closer, I could see this humongous painting in the background. Like imagine a painting as tall as the Empire State Building. And
damn,
that painting is in front of this Stonehenge-like structure. And I'm walking through it. And as I come up to it, I can see the pillar that I'm supposed to walk through. It's kind of like a doorway. And it looks like Stonehenge. And as I'm doing that, it looks like as I'm walking through it, the painting in the background, that's like the size of the Empire State Building, it looks like that is the moon. In this one spot, it looked like I was walking through it and I could see the moon. And then once I walked through the door, it totally like changed the perspective just because of like the way the pillars were set up. And I could tell it was just like one single part of the painting. And then as I was in this Stonehenge structure, it was kind of grunge, man. It was kind of like punk rock almost. The Stonehenge structure was made up of like parking garage material. Like, you know how things look in parking garages where it's like the gray on the top, and then it gets like a darker gray, and there's like yellow on the pillars, like yellow in the middle, and there's like it looked like that. Like it was like a Stonehenge made up of that kind of stuff. And the lights were literally like fluorescent lights, like those tube lights that they have in like the basement of Patagonia. So like just like old tube lights were lighting up this like Stonehenge made out of like a parking garage material. And
sounds so trippy.
It really is, man. It very much was. And like after like you go through that, like that kind of leads to like the concert experience of it, which maybe if you experience this, we can talk about, but I don't really want to spoil that because that is really like the key of this experience. And dude, I don't know. It was like trippy and eclectic, and I don't even know, man. It was something else.
Dude, it sounds like you described an acid trip.
I could not imagine if you dropped acid and did that. Like you'd probably, yeah, that would change your life for sure. But yeah, man, it was really cool because like I was literally like in this experience, like this kind of like museum-esque type of thing. And oh man, there's actually this one part, it's kind of like straight up the Guggenheim, but it's like a staircase, like a slanted spiral staircase. And it's just infinite. Like I walked around it for like 20 minutes and I was like, this goes on forever. Like there is no way that like, it's literally like an infinite Guggenheim, man. And I was like, that's crazy. So
dude, 8 gigabytes on my PlayStation 5. I could try this.
Yeah, it's free to play too. I don't know, man. I think that if you were like looking for like an experience to just like, it's also like, it's kind of dark too. Like there are definitely points that are like really cool and dark, but there are places where I was like a little unhinged because it was just kind of creepy. But it also like says something about like I don't know, it kind of just reminded me of like the yin and the yang, like the light and the dark. Like, I don't know, like, oh, you should check it out, dude. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, man.
I gotta try it, man. It definitely sounds like something I would enjoy.
You should definitely check it out. Especially like, I don't know, we're all in like this, I don't know, I guess I can really only speak for myself, but I just feel like I've been deprived of new experiences for like a year plus. And then I got to experience this and I was just like, wow, like I truly have never experienced anything like this. So I would recommend it to anyone.
All right, bro. That's a good way to end the episode.
That's about all I got, man. Play some shooters, play Kid A Mnesia, and check out our YouTube channel. Check out our Patreon. Hey, actually, really quick, before we end this up, we've kind of noticed some new patrons. So if you're a new patron, thank you so much. It truly does mean the world to us. And I don't know, I guess I can't say anything but thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much. We super appreciate you guys, and keep up the support. We'll keep up the good content. And yeah, we We really, really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and thanks to everybody that is playing on our Minecraft realm. It's starting to look super cool, starting to shape up. So I'm kind of excited to jump back into that. We haven't talked about that in a minute, so maybe we'll talk about that next week. Give you a little update on that.
Yeah.
And as we're gonna keep it up for a little bit coming into the holiday season. If you have anyone that just needs some friends or need to share a world with, like, feel free to share that link. And that's really kind of what it's about right now. It's just kind of giving people places to hang out amidst everything.
Hop in the server.
Thank you so much for listening. That's all I have.
Peace in the Minecraft streets.
Peace in the Halo streets, baby.
That's right.